A very good morning to all. We are live now. Good morning, the Holy Veda. How many Vedas are there? कितने वेदा होते हैं होली वेदा? Let's wait one more minute, okay? Then we'll start. Let more people join, okay? So I have given you one question for homework. एक सवाल दिया था गृह कार्य के लिए, राइट? गृह कार्य मीन्स होमवर्क. You people have done that question? I'll put up the question. जिन लोगों ने क्वेश्चन नहीं किया है वो लोग अभी करें. This was the question. चलो 1 minute I'll give to solve this question. Those who have not done, जिन लोगों ने कर लिया है, put your answers in the chat. Let me see. Good morning, Ashlesha and Sarthak. 2 people in one ID. Please try this question. ये friction के ऊपर question दिया था in the previous class. Okay. Will the block move? Yes or no? Find the acceleration if the block moves. Find limiting friction force. Chalo, let's discuss this question. Okay. So in this question, very simple things are asked, but there is a small difference, right? In previous question, जो हमने पहले पढ़े थे, right? For example, these questions, right? In these questions, you can see the force. The force is always acting parallel to the horizontal surface, right? Parallel to the horizontal surface, parallel here also parallel to the horizontal surface. But इसमें क्या है? What is done in this one? That force is now acting with some angle, 37 degrees. बस इतना सा difference है. So no issue. Okay. Blur screen इसलिए आ रहा है होली वेदा because you have not put that quality तुमने बढ़ाया नहीं. You have to increase the quality. Click on the 3 dots on the right top corner, go to quality, and then click on advanced, and then go to 720 pixels. Okay. Still I am running in my phone also. So ये देखो. So quality is absolutely fine. Screen is not blurred. Okay. Okay, great. So in this question, what we have to find? We have to find, first of all, will the block move or not? So first of all, we will find that how much friction force this surface can offer. ये surface कितना friction force लगा सकती है? Okay. So if I talk about the diagram of this block, इसको अगले पेज पे बनाते हैं, right? Let's make it on the next page. So if I talk about the block, this is the block, and this block is of how much weight? 2 kgs, right? Force is acting in this direction. How much is the force? Force is 30 newtons. Okay, so 30 newtons, right? If I break the components of this 30 newtons, I can write one component will be here, and this angle is of course 37 degrees. So I can write this as angle के साथ component is 30 cos 37. 30 into cos 37 is 4 by 5, 24 newtons. Okay. If I talk about the vertical component, that will be 30 into sine 37. That is equal to 30 into 3 by 5. That is 18 newtons. That means इस ब्लॉक का ऊपर फोर्स लग रहा है 18, on the right side it is 24, right? और इस ब्लॉक का कुछ मास होगा, it will have some mass, right? So that mass will also be a force component, which is mg. Mg is 2 into g, that is 20 newtons downwards. Okay. एक और force लग रहा होगा, which is normal force, right? Normal force acts upside. Okay. So from the center, I am making normal force as well. Normal. Okay. Now this block is not going up in the sky, not going inside the ground. So all the vertical forces will be equal. सारे vertical force equal करेंगे तो क्या आएगा? ऊपर वाला force. What is ऊपर वाला? ऊपर वाला is 18 plus normal. That is equal to 20 newtons. So normal from here is 2 newtons only. Okay. सारे ऊपर वाले forces, all the upper forces, that is 18 plus n. All the down forces, that is 20. I have equated, I got normal as 2n. Normal क्यों निकाल रहे हैं? Because when we find normal, then only we can get the frictional force. है ना? So normal is this much, and 24 is acting in the horizontal direction. So let me check, okay, if this block moves or not, right? So first of all, for finding that block will move or not, we have to calculate that how much is the friction, maximum limiting friction force. Okay. So if I talk about frictional force limiting, that is equal to mu into n. Hold for a second. Mu into n force hoga, limiting frictional force. So if I calculate mu is how much? Friction coefficient. Acha, which we will take? Static lenge na to find limiting, because limiting we find when the block is not moving, right? So limiting ke liye mu is 0.2 given in the question, normal is 2. That means 0.4 newtons. 0.4 newton से ही रोक सकता है इसको friction. But how much is the force applied? 24. So definitely it will move. Okay, because when it will move, friction पीछे लगेगा. And limiting is 0.4. 0.4 is the maximum friction that can be applied on this block from the surface or from the ground. And somebody is pulling with 24. It will definitely move. Okay. So limiting का तो answer आ गया. FL. This is the limiting frictional force. If I talk about will this block move or not? So answer होगा yes, definitely it will move. Limiting force आ गया 0.4 newtons. If I talk about find the acceleration if block moves, how much is the acceleration? अब ये थोड़ा सा tricky हो सकता है, because in this you have to calculate the kinetic frictional force, है ना? Because when the block moves, static frictional force गायब, only the kinetic frictional force will be there, because kinetic frictional force comes into picture when the body is moving, right? तो अब बॉडी अगर मूव होगा तो काइनेटिक फ्रिक्शन फोर्स आएगा, भाई निकाल लेते हैं, म्यू के इनटू नॉर्मल इज इक्वल टू काइनेटिक फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स. सो म्यू के काइनेटिक कितना है 0.15, normal is 2, this is kinetic frictional force, so kinetic frictional force is 0.3 newtons. Okay, अब tension khatam. Why? Because now when the block moves, let's say this is the block again, it will be having a force of 24 newtons and kinetic frictional force will be acting backwards, that is 0.3 newtons, and mass is 2. Now easily we can find by using F net is equal to ma. F net is how much? 24, right wala force minus left wala force, 24 minus 0.3 is equal to 2 into acceleration. So acceleration kitna aaya 23.7 divided by 2, whatever it is, kitna aayega 12 nahi 11.85 meter per second square, 11.85 meter per second square. क्या ये चीज समझ में आया? Have you people understood what story I have told to you? बोलो बोलो बोलो, speak fast, not speak because I cannot hear you. Type fast. Understood? YouTube वाले लोग. Why Sangli batch joins late always? क्यों भाई सांगली वालों? सांगली बैच लेट क्यों आते हो भाई? Yesterday also you came in the middle of the class. Please join on time, okay? Time पे join किया करो, right? Don't come in between. Okay. Anyways, तो भाई सब समझ में आया होगा, बहुत बढ़िया. क्वेश्चन करते हैं और बहुत सारे, राइट? सो लेट्स मूव टू नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. अगला क्वेश्चन है, देयर इज एन इंक्लाइंड प्लेन. ठीक, यू नो इंक्लाइंड प्लेन. Inclined plane, the angle is, let's say, theta, okay, and there is a block kept on this inclined plane of 5 kg. 5 means 5 kg, right? And let's say the friction coefficient of the surface is 0.3, right? So you have to find, question is find theta for which the block is stationary, not stationary shop. ब्लॉक रुका हुआ है. भाई इंक्लाइंड प्लेन पे फ्रिक्शन होगा तो ब्लॉक रुक सकता है, राइट? इट कैन स्टॉप देयर. So you have to find that how much should be theta. अब ये थीटा कितना होगा वो निकालना है, दैट इज द क्वेश्चन। ओके, करो, ट्राई करो, यू पीपल ट्राई, देन आई विल टेल यू। इधर थीटा के लिए मैक्सिमम लिख लेना, फाइंड थीटा मैक्स, क्योंकि थीटा तो 0 डिग्री भी हो सकता है, राइट? इट कैन बी 1 डिग्री ऑल्सो, वेरी स्मॉल इंक्लिनेशन, इट विल स्टॉप। सो थीटा मैक्स निकालना है, हाउ मच if I increase the inclination slowly, कब तक ये ब्लॉक स्लिप नहीं होगा, राइट? That you have to find. Again, 2 minutes. चलो, I'll do it, मेरे साथ करो, right? Because a bit difficult it is, है ना, new concept for you people, so that's why. लेकिन अगला क्वेश्चन तुम लोग करोगे फिर, राइट? कलर कौन सा लें? ब्लू लेते हैं। देखो भाई, ये ब्लॉक रुका रहेगा, कब रुका रहेगा? If I increase the inclination, I have to find theta max. कितना max होना चाहिए, right? So when this block will just start to slip, it is on the verge of slipping, it is at the end of the slipping, sorry, end of the stationary motion, right? So तब क्या होगा? There will be friction force acting upwards or downwards. Friction force will act upwards because it will try to come down. When it will be about to slip, it will try to come on this side. नीचे आएगा ना, gravity अपना काम दिखाएगा, right? So friction force should be on the this side. Okay, friction force इस side होना चाहिए for maximum theta, right? कितना होगा? mu into normal. तो यहाँ पे नॉर्मल निकालना है फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल। ओके, नॉर्मल कैसे निकालेंगे भाई? देयर विल बी mg एक्टिंग डाउनवर्ड्स, इस mg के कंपोनेंट कर देंगे। इधर होता है mg साइन थीटा, इधर होता है mg cos थीटा। सर कैसे होता है, अभी बताते हैं। सो इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द कंपोनेंट्स, mg will be acting downwards, that is 5g. Okay, and this angle will be how much? This angle will be 90 minus theta, 90 minus theta, because this is 90 and that is theta, so this is 90 minus theta. अगर ये 90 minus theta है and this is perpendicular, this dotted line is perpendicular to the inclined plane, so this will be theta. अगर ये theta है तो if I make the components, this will be 5g cos theta and just this will be 5g sin theta, right? तो अब काम सिर्फ अपन को, we have work only for 5g sin theta and 5g cos theta. अच्छा, इस ब्लॉक का FBD बनाते हैं। Let's make FBD of this block. So इस ब्लॉक पर एक फोर्स लग रहा है, that is 5g sin theta, right? इसको थोड़ा सा राइट रखते हैं, इधर रखते हैं। ओके, सो 5g sin theta इधर लग रहा है, at the down side it is 5g cos theta। और क्या लग रहा होगा? फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स which will be backwards, right? mu into n, n नॉर्मल भी तो लग रहा होगा, right? So normal force will also be there, right? So these all forces are acting on this block, right? अच्छा, so if this block is stationary, that means net force in each direction should be 0. Yes or no? So net force in each direction, first ले लेते हैं perpendicular to the inclined plane. So for perpendicular to inclined plane, n will be equal to 5g cos theta. And for parallel to the inclined plane means 5g sin theta and mu n. So 5g, या फिर ऐसा लिख लेते हैं, mu into n is equal to 5g sin theta. अब निकालना क्या है? What is asked in the question? It is asked find theta. तो n का तो कोई काम नहीं, no work of n, we will divide it. This is equation first, this is equation second, by dividing equation 1 by second. जब डिवाइड करेंगे तो क्या होगा भाई? n upon mu n, that is equal to 5g cos theta upon 5g sin theta. This is g, not 9. 5g gayab, n gayab. So it will be, if I reciprocate it, it will be tan theta is equal to mu. That means theta is equal to tan inverse of mu. कितना होता है भाई? Mu is given as 0.3, so 0.3. This is the answer. Okay, so theta को कितना होना चाहिए? It can be maximum tan inverse of 0.3. Don't worry about the value, just because this question I have taken randomly, right? So data ऐसा आया है which is not solvable, but anyways concept समझ में आना चाहिए, right? So this incline can be maximum when friction is acting opposite to the motion. Motion जब होने वाला है, it is on the verge of moving, so it will move downwards. That means friction will be upwards. That is the main concept. Understood? बोलो भाई. Please be active, not passive. JN with you also, please join on time, right? Don't come in mid of the class. Okay? 10 बजे class start होता है. Timings again I am telling you. Saturday the timing is 3 to 4. Means basically all the classes on Saturday will be starting from 3. The first classes of physics. And on Sundays the classes will be starting from 10. And all classes means first classes physics only. On Sunday also. Time पे आया करो, okay? You may miss important concepts. Okay, don't come in between of the class, right? Just for attendance. ठीक है भाई, ये भी समझ में आया होगा. और चलते हैं. Let's do some more pattern questions because these are important concepts. ये अगर सच में पढ़ना चाहते हो, if you really want to study, these concepts are very important for NEET, for JEE, for BITS, whatever exam you are giving. ये mechanics है. Mechanics हर exam में आती है, right? It will come in every exam. So please be a little bit serious about this, right? Sir, आप तो दिल पे ले गए sir. Okay. Anyways, let's move to next question. थोड़ा सा तुम लोगों को स्प्रिंग के बारे में पता है? स्प्रिंग इंक्लूड कर दें इसमें. Let's include spring. Okay. So quickly for those people who don't know about springs, मैं थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ, right? Let's say there is a spring, okay, and spring से एक block attached है. Let's say 2 kgs का, okay. If अच्छा spring में एक spring constant होता है, which depends only on the material and is denoted by K, right? अब ये क्यों होता है, कैसा होता है? I have already explained it, but anyways, if you don't know, I am revising it again. If I compress this spring, अगर मैं इस spring को दबाता हूँ, spring will become unstable and will try to expand. When I compress the spring, it will try to expand. With how much force it will expand? That force is equal to K, which is spring constant, multiplied by the amount of compression you have offered. Amount of compression means the length of compression. So let's say X is that length. If you compressed the spring by X, it will try to expand by a force of Kx. और इसके आगे एक छोटा सा माइनस लगा देते हैं, because the force is in opposite direction. Spring force, Fs. Spring force is in opposite direction to the force that you have applied. I am assuming my force that I have applied is positive, so spring force will be negative. If I try to compress the spring by X distance, X meters, it will try to expand by a force of Kx. If I expand the spring by X, it will try to compress by Kx. Same cheese, right? So force of spring is minus Kx. याद रखना अच्छे से. अब इसमें थोड़ा सा अपन फ्रिक्शन का यूज कर लेते हैं, राइट? ध्यान से सुनना, ओके? सो क्वेश्चन क्या है? क्वेश्चन इज लेट्स टेक दिस डायग्राम ओनली. इसी डायग्राम को लेते हैं. एंड इन दिस डायग्राम k इज गिवन एज 0.3. ठीक है, 0.3 k दे रखा है. And this block is expanded by, let's say, x equals to 1 meter. 1 meter इसको खींचा, okay? अच्छा, this surface is also having friction. Let's say friction coefficient is mu, okay? So when this block is expanded by 1 meters, definitely spring will try to contract. Spring छोटा होना चाहेगा because it becomes unstable. उसका stability is decreased because when a person stretches or compresses the spring, it is very unstable. It wants to remain in the same length in which it was initially without any force. तो इसमें निकालना क्या है? Find mu, that is friction coefficient, when the block is stable, when the block is stable even after stretching, for 1 meters. मतलब 1 meters को खींचा, somebody pulled it by 1 meter. Okay, I'm going to move this concept some other place. इसको इधर रख देते हैं. So I pulled this block by 1 meter. 1 meter इसको pull करेंगे तो कैसा हो जाएगा ये? It will be somewhat like okay. So let's say this block is pulled by 1 meter. ठीक है, तो इस 1 meter पे खींचा इसको. Now this is the new position of the block and now it is stable. Stable means it does not want to move. मतलब समझ रहे हो? Spring क्या कर रहा है? Spring is still pulling it by how much? kx, or I can say k into 1 meters, right? लेकिन ये आना नहीं चाहता. क्यों नहीं आना चाहता? Because friction is there. Friction is saying no, you cannot go. I am pulling you with mu n. If a spring is pulling you with kx, I am pulling with mu n. You cannot go anywhere. I have that much capability to stop you. तो इस केस में क्या होगा? In this case, these both forces should be equal. Then only this block will be stable, ना? That is the main concept here. क्या concept है? ये block stable रहे. This block should be stable even after pulling 1 meter. Then what is the value of mu? I'm giving you 1 minute. Let's see who can answer. बताओ. थोड़ा फीलिंग आता है फिजिक्स में. यू नीड फीलिंग, ओके? फील अगर नहीं होगा then it will create problem. Feel means imagination you should increase. Sit, बैठो और सोचो. Oh, this is block, this is spring. कैसा होगा, right? That possibilities you have to think in your mind. Then only you can deal with physics. Physics, why it feels difficult? Because you people don't think. You want rapid answers, right? Most of the students. I'm not talking about all. हमको जल्दी जल्दी आंसर चाहिए, right? In physics, you have to think. सोचना पड़ेगा. Because it is a real life concept or real life subject. है ना? Also, it is combination of two subjects, maths and physics. है ना? तो थोड़ा problem तो आएगा. Initially, you will have a thinking problem, but after 6 or 7 months of lot of thinking, it will become a habit to think about things. चलो, so this much time is enough. देखो आप ध्यान से. If you people will respond, that will be a better for me also, right? I'll get the insight. Those whoever are sitting on this computer, please ask the students and reply. Or even students are sitting, you please reply, okay? थोड़ा सा मुझे भी confidence boost चाहिए, right? Then only I will be able to understand your feelings. Okay? ऐसे तो फिर कुछ भी YouTube वीडियो देख लो. What is the use of live classes? Live classes का use ही है, interaction should be there, right? Okay, let's continue. So क्या होगा? What will happen when you stretch by 1 meter? Spring will say, oh, where are you taking my block? मेरा block पीछे आने दो. कितने से आने दो? kx. k कितना है? k is 0.3. x कितना है? 1 meter. So block will be pulled by 0.3 newtons. फ्रिक्शन क्या? ना यू कैनॉट गो. ऐसे कैसे? मैं भी तो हूं. सो फ्रिक्शन फोर्स will be equal to, can it be equal to 0.3? because kx is pulled. kx से पुल हो रहा है, तो क्या फ्रिक्शन 0.3 हो सकता है? let us check. okay, फ्रिक्शन को होना ही पड़ेगा, right? so फ्रिक्शन को होना पड़ेगा 0.3 and friction is equal to mu into normal. okay, in this case normal कितना होगा? 20. कैसे सर? अरे भाई, downside mg will be pulling by 2g, upside normal will be there, so normal is 20. okay, so we can equate both the forces, that is friction force equals to kx, right? Friction force is mu into 20 and kx is 0.3, so mu should be equal to 0.3 divided by 20, that is 0.015. okay, and spring constant does not have a unit, right? so directly we'll write 0.015. ठीक है. अच्छा, ये फ्रिक्शन होगा कौन सा? इट विल बी स्टैटिक और काइनेटिक? क्या तुम लोग बताओगे? दिस फ्रिक्शन फोर्स विल बी स्टैटिक और काइनेटिक? आंसर इन द चैट, जल्दी फटाफट. अरे सोने वाले बच्चों, ये स्टैटिक होगा या काइनेटिक होगा? इज द ब्लॉक मूविंग? क्या तुम लोग सुन पा रहे हो मैं जो पढ़ा रहा हूँ? कैन यू पीपल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम टीचिंग? people on Zoom, people on YouTube, is this friction coefficient for static or kinetic? Is the block static or moving? Block रुका हुआ है, right? So if the block is stopped, this is static. Yes, Rajesh Kumar. Tell me, you have any doubt? You cannot type or what in the chat? Oh, Okay. Sorry. My mistake. Actually, my chat was stuck. I have reopened it, so now I can see your messages. That's why I was thinking. Okay, so good morning, Tandil. Tandil, okay. Good morning, Sangli PCM. Sir, I joined the class late. Please explain it again about force of spring. Stat. अरे force of spring में इतना याद रखो, it is equal to kx. K क्या है? K is a constant value that will be given in the question. X is the amount of displacement that you have given to the block. जितने से block displace किया है, it can be in the direction of spring or away from the spring. That is x. अभी ये याद रखो, right? What is the force of spring when it is disturbed? If it is disturbed by x in any of the direction, if it is compressed, if it is stretched, the force of spring will be kx in the opposite direction of displacement. Okay, chalo. So static hoga, correct answer. Rajesh Kumar, from Rajesh Kumar side, static. Okay, because the block is not moving. Block move थोड़ी ना हो रहा है. Block is still, right? चलो भाई, अगले क्वेश्चन पे चलते हैं. Let's move to a different pattern. Spring include कर लिया है. Now, अब दीवार पे चढ़ा देते हैं ब्लॉक को. Okay. So question is basically somewhat like this. So this is a wall, and this wall basically is इस wall पर एक block है. Okay. So there is a block on this wall, right? इसका mass है 3 kgs, and the coefficient of friction mu static is equal to 0.5 and mu kinetic is equal to 0. Let's say 1, right? And somebody is pushing this block by a force of 100 newtons. ठीक है? तो imagine करो, imagine there is a wall and you are pushing a block. Okay? So पहला, the first question, find if the block moves. If the block moves, please raise down your hand, lower hand. Acha, I'll do it. Okay. So find if the block moves. क्या ये block move होगा कि नहीं? Okay. Move मतलब it will fall or it will rise. Okay. समझ में आया question? Block 100 Newton force and non-friction and friction is there on the surface. So this block will move or not. समझते हैं. Let's understand how to do this type of question. So ये block रहा भाई. Let's make that block. 3 किलोग्राम का ब्लॉक है, 3 kg ब्लॉक, एंड इस ब्लॉक पर क्या क्या फोर्स लगेगा? फर्स्ट फोर्स इज ऑफ mg. mg इज 3g. ओके. और दूसरा फोर्स लगेगा इफ इट डज नॉट मूव. लेट अस एज्यूम द एक्सट्रीम कंडीशंस. एक्सट्रीम कंडीशंस मतलब इट इज जस्ट गोइंग टू मूव डाउनवर्ड्स. ठीक है, नीचे मूव होने वाला है. So we can find how much frictional force can be applied by the ball. Friction force लगेगा ऊपर. Okay. कितना लग सकता है? Let us find limiting friction. Limiting friction is mu static into normal. In this case, normal will be away from the surface. So normal will be in this direction. And somebody is pushing with 100. Somebody is pushing with 100. So surface will also apply normal. So normal here is equal to 100 newtons. Okay. So if I talk about mu s is 0.5. Normal is 100. So it will be 50 newtons. मतलब frictional force can be up to 50. 50 तक लग सकता है. In this case, how much it should be? Because 3g is downwards. So 30 तो लगा ही सकता है. It can apply 30 easily because maximum limit कितना है उसका? 50. So block will move or not? What I'm telling? ये रहा block. इसको नीचे ग्रेविटी ने खींचा 30 से 3g 30, और ऊपर फ्रिक्शन खींच सकता है, इट कैन स्टॉप द ब्लॉक अप टिल 50, सो 30 इट कैन इजीली पुट। इसका मतलब समझे, विल नॉट मूव। अगर मूव नहीं कर रहा है दैट मीन्स एक्सेलरेशन तो जीरो होगा, राइट? एक्सेलरेशन विल बी जीरो, एंड इफ आई टॉक अबाउट द लिमिटिंग फ्रिक्शन फोर्स दैट इज 50। ठीक है, अच्छा सर अगर ये मूव कर रहा होता तो क्या होता? इफ इट वाज मूविंग then what may have happened? No, static was correct. अगर ये ब्लॉक मूव नहीं हो रहा है, अगर ये ब्लॉक मूव होता तो एक्सेलरेशन कैसे निकालते? एक क्वेश्चन और कर लेते हैं, राइट? सेम पैटर्न बट लिटिल बिट चेंज ऑफ डेटा। चलो, सो दिस इज नोटेड। चले आगे। ओके, सो लेट्स टेक सेम क्वेश्चन। क्वेश्चन लगभग सेम है। क्वेश्चन इज सेम बट थोड़ा सा डेटा चेंज करते हैं। लेट्स टेक दिस एज 0.2। ओके, अब ये डेटा है। सो क्वेश्चन इज अगेन, if a block moves or not, and if it moves, how much is the acceleration? Okay, so question is same, will the block move or not? Question is, will block move? तो भाई फिर से देखो, again we will make FBD. FBD means free body diagram. Free body diagram मतलब नीचे 30 3g, gravity is pulling downwards, friction लगेगा ऊपर. Now we have to check that limiting friction force कितना लग सकता है, how much it can be maximum. Okay, so it is again mu into n. Mu is 0.2, static लेंगे because it is at rest, I am assuming that. So 0.2 into normal, normal is 100, that is equal to 20 newtons. Oh, that means 20 newtons ही लग सकता है maximum, but somebody is pulling, somebody, who is that somebody? Gravity. Gravity is pulling by 30. It will move. लेकिन अगर ये move कर गया, if it moved, because 20 newtons can be maximum frictional force, right? If it moves, now static is gone, kinetic will come into picture. So ये सब खराब, बेकार, no use, because it is moving. If it is moving, now the frictional force will be kinetic frictional force. निकाल लेते हैं, it is very easy to find. So kinetic frictional force mu k into normal, that is kinetic frictional force Fk. So कितना आएगा? Mu k is how much? 0.1. Normal is 100, so that is 10. मतलब this block, एक बार और FBD बनाते हैं इसका. So this is the block of 3 kg. mg नीचे लग रहा है 30, ऊपर लग रहा है 10. हाँ, block is moving. This is the frictional force. Okay, just wait. A little bit of noise is there. Okay, so now we can easily find acceleration. अगर कोई पूछ ले what is, अच्छा block, will block move? Yes, of course. Why? Because static frictional force is not sufficient to stop the block. If block will move, find acceleration. Find acceleration. Acceleration कितना होगा? Easily we can find F net बराबर ma. F net, net force is how much? नीचे 30, ऊपर 10. So net force is 30 minus 10, that is downwards. So this block will be moving downwards with a acceleration. Mass is how much? 3. Acceleration is a. So 20 by 3 is the acceleration. ठीक. बस सिंपल है, समझ में आया भाई? यू पीपल अंडरस्टूड ना? मीटिंग पासकोड इज 1234. Obed, meeting passcode is 1234. Always remember, meeting passcodes will be 1234, right? Zoom वाले भैया समझ में आया? सांगली बैच, the JNV Diu, and from this Rajesh Kumar Verma's side, I don't know which JNV they are joining from. Please mention your JNV also, okay? So it becomes a little bit easier for me, right? Understood ना? सब समझ में आया? चले आगे? Okay, okay. Thank you, Rajesh Kumar Verma sir. Great. और क्वेश्चन करेंगे? Shall we do more questions? टाइम तो है, और कर लेते हैं, राइट? अब थोड़ा सा एक मैं करा देता हूँ, 2 ब्लॉक सिस्टम. वैसे आता नहीं है, इट डज नॉट कम, बट फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स हु आर ट्राइंग टू कोप अप विद जेईई एडवांस, उनमें आ सकता है, इट मे कम, राइट? सो एक सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन उठा लेते हैं, सिंपल सा इलस्ट्रेशन. 2 ब्लॉक सिस्टम. 2 ब्लॉक सिस्टम मतलब देयर इज 1 ब्लॉक, ओके, और इस ब्लॉक के ऊपर भी है एक ब्लॉक, ओके. नीचे वाला ब्लॉक इज लेट्स से 5 kg, ऊपर वाला ब्लॉक इज 2 kg. अब ऊपर वाले ब्लॉक पर फोर्स लग रहा है लेट्स से 10 न्यूटन्स, ओके, एंड द फ्रिक्शन कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ दिस सरफेस इज म्यू इज लेट्स से 0.4, और इस सरफेस का फ्रिक्शन इज 0, मींस फ्रिक्शनलेस. ऊपर फ्रिक्शन है, नीचे फ्रिक्शन नहीं है. सो क्वेश्चन इज, विल द ब्लॉक मूव टुगेदर? क्या ये ब्लॉक साथ में चलेंगे? ये सवाल है. क्वेश्चन इज, विल दिस ब्लॉक मूव टुगेदर? ओके, बहुत सिंपल तरीके से मैं बताऊंगा, राइट? प्लीज लिसन केयरफुली. ओके 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 आस्था, ग्रेट. सो ब्लॉक साथ में चलेंगे कि नहीं? करने का तरीका, द मेथड इज वेरी सिंपल. Method is starting from assumption. So what is that assumption? Let us assume they move together. मान लो ये साथ में चल रहे हैं, ठीक है? If they are moving together, I can assume them as one body. एक body मान सकते हैं. So this will be transformed somewhat like this. Okay, this is of 7 kgs total. Okay, so I can assume them as one single body. और इस सिंगल बॉडी पर फोर्स लग रहा है 10 न्यूटन्स का. तो कितना एक्सेलरेशन होगा? बहुत सिंपल है सर. दिस इज फ्रिक्शनलेस, सो नो फ्रिक्शन फोर्स इज देयर डाउनवर्ड्स. सो द फोर्स नेट बराबर ma. फोर्स नेट इज 10, mass is 7, a is acceleration. By acceleration will be common because I am assuming that both are moving together, right? Acceleration is, let's say, a. So a is equal to 10 by 7 meter per second square. ये acceleration आया. अच्छा, this acceleration came when we have assumed that they are moving together. Let us check if particular blocks have the same accelerations or not. Check भी तो करना पड़ेगा, right? If we don't check, then how we can say our assumption is correct? So let us check starting from the below block. Below block, that is 5 kg block. So I'm making that block. Please listen carefully. 5 kg block. ये block कितने से चल रहा है? I am assuming that it is moving by 10 by 7 because I have just found. That was my assumption, right? Now let's make all the net forces on this block. सारा net force बनाते हैं. So first force can be लेट्स से F। अच्छा, ये फोर्स कहां से आएगा? दिस इज नथिंग बट द फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स विच केम फ्रॉम अपर। अच्छा ध्यान से सुनो, 2 और 5 के बीच में फ्रिक्शन है, 5 के बीच में नो फ्रिक्शन। व्हेन 2 विल बी पुल्ड, this block will try to pull this 5 along with it because friction is there, friction है, तो ये ऊपर वाला ब्लॉक उसको पुल करने की कोशिश करेगा, राइट? अच्छा, this is the frictional force acting on this block, right? If I talk about 2 kg block, 2 kg block, इस 2 kg ब्लॉक पर फोर्स लग रहा है 10, और अच्छा, frictional force comes in here, it will be in pair. If 2 will try to move this block आगे with FF, this down वाला block will try to push it backwards with FF, right? So इस पर पीछे लगेगा, same FF, मतलब ध्यान से सुनना, ये वाला ब्लॉक इसको आगे खींचेगा FF से, और ये इसको पीछे धकेलेगा FF से। Again, this block will pull this block by FF, and 5 kg block will push this block backside by FF. Okay, so ये फंडा है, this is a simple funda. So if I take this block and if I analyze, and if I take this block and analyze, देखो, if I take 5 kg block, 5 kg block को अगर उठाते हैं तो I can write F net, that is FF, friction force is equal to MA, M into 10/7, right? ये तो आया नीचे की वजह से, if it is moving with 10/7 acceleration. If I put it in up, ऊपर अगर मैंने रखा, so I can now, if अगर देखो, in this case it should also move with 10/7. अगर 10/7 acceleration आ गया, that means our assumption is correct. अगर नहीं आया, then our assumption is absolutely wrong. So let us find ऊपर net force here, F net is 10 minus FF, that is equal to 2 into acceleration कितना आना चाहिए? 10/7. So now let's calculate FF कितना होगा यहाँ से? FF is equal to 10 minus 20/7, that is 70 minus 50/7. क्या 50/7 दोनों FF आ रहे हैं? चेक करो. Both FF are coming 50/7? Yes, absolutely. That means these blocks are moving together. ये दोनों ब्लॉक साथ में मूव हो रहे हैं. ओके, अच्छा, अभी नहीं बता सकते FF is 50 or 50/7 or not. 50/7 आ सकता है क्या FF? That also we have to check ना. ये तो अपन ने निकाल लिया कि they can, if they move together, the friction force should be 50/7. Let's check if it is possible or not. क्या ये possible है? FF, देखो भाई, ये क्वेश्चन एडवांस लेवल का क्वेश्चन है, अगर समझ में आए तो ही करना, नहीं आता है then just leave it, no issue. Okay, don't get confused because I want to teach you from basics to maximum level. I should not leave anything in between. Na? Some students are preparing for advanced, some are preparing for NEET, right? So maximum level तक जाएंगे, है ना? That should not be an issue. अगर नहीं आता है then do not need to worry. It will not come in NEET and JEE mains. Okay, JEE mains में एक बार आ सकता है, very rarely, but it will not come. Most probably it will come in JEE advanced only. Okay, so FF कितना है? FF friction force can be mu n. भाई फ्रिक्शन फोर्स लगेगा किस ब्लॉक की वजह से? इसकी वजह से. So what is the coefficient of friction? 0.4. What is normal? Normal कितना लगेगा यहाँ पे? 20, 2g. So it will be equal to 8 newtons. And this is how much? 7.1 newtons. Of course, yes. Friction force can be 8 newtons. 8 newton तक जा सकता है. And only we need 7.1 newton to move the blocks together. है ना? क्या ये चीज समझ में आया? क्वेश्चन दोबारा समझना है ना? I'm repeating it once again. एक बार quickly revise कर लेते हैं. Okay, so this is the maximum level that the question can go. Question is 2 and 5 kg block are kept together. 2 और 5 के बीच में there is a friction which has friction coefficient of 0.4. 5 और surface के बीच में no friction, frictionless. Question is will the blocks move together or not? So for finding if the blocks move together or not, we have to assume that they are moving together. So first of all, we have assumed that they move together. If they move together, what is their acceleration? Their acceleration came out to be 10 by 7. अगर उनका acceleration 10 by 7 है, that means each block should have acceleration of 10 by 7. So we'll check. So I have made FBD, free body diagrams for both the blocks. I have found the net force on each block. So on 5 kg block, the net force was only due to friction force that is applied from the 2 kg block. नीचे तो friction है नहीं, right? So I have equated FF with MA. So it came out to be 50 by 7. That means friction force needed to move the block by 10 by 7 acceleration is 50 by 7. I have checked the same for 2 kg block by finding net force, that is 10 minus FF is equal to MA. Okay, so it came out to be 50 by 7 again. So friction force should be equal to 50 by 7. Now we will check this friction force is possible or not. So I have checked here, and it came out to be that up to 8 newtons friction can be possible. So of course 7.1 will be easily possible, right? So our assumption was correct. So yes, answer is yes. Okay, so friction खत्म यहाँ पे. और ज्यादा प्रैक्टिस के लिए you can use HCV. HCV में एक friction का dedicated chapter है, so you can practice from there. Before going, please complete NPS, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me, right? And next time say, please try to come on time so that you don't miss any concept. Okay, अब अपन next class में चालू करेंगे center of mass. Actually it should be started in this session, but anyways, friction I wanted you to learn till maximum level, right? So next class में center of mass जो होता है ना, वो निकालना सीखेंगे, right? Any doubt is there? ठीक है, you can go for your next class. Okay, bye bye, take care, and please be in touch with physics. Okay, otherwise you will forget. Practice little bit daily. Chalo, bye bye, take care, and have a awesome Sunday. Yeah, sure. Astha, you can leave the class. Bye bye. सांगली वालों, टाइम पे आया करो भाई. Okay, come on time, don't come late.